We turn now to breaking news overnight. A woman on a motorcycle was killed after a crash with a commercial dump truck.
It happened around 11:30 last night at Highway 6 in Westheimer.
Our Brittany Ford joins us live this morning with more. And Brittany, we understand that police still looking for the driver of that truck.
Well, Steph, good morning to you. They are, and police are now looking to gather surveillance video in the area to help find that driver, who witnesses say may have not even known this crash occurred. Take a look. This is what things look like just hours ago. You can see on your screen there the motorcycle that collided with that dump truck. Now, witnesses say it was a woman on a bike speeding through the intersection here at Highway 6 in Westheimer when she collided with the back passenger side of that dump truck. We're told she died from that impact. Police finding her body in the motorcycle in a nearby ditch. Now, investigators say the dump truck driver kept driving north on Highway 6. Witnesses telling police the driver didn't seem to notice anything had happened. Now, investigators say the family of the woman who died have been notified and were out here as investigators worked the scene last night. Again, they're trying to gather surveillance video in the area to help find that driver, Steph.
All right, Brittany, thank you. Hopefully police will be able to track down that driver soon. Thank you, and we will see you later on in the hour. We turn now to other breaking news, this time in Southwest Houston. At least 3 people were injured in an apartment fire on Braeswood Boulevard. The call came in around 8 o'clock last night. Right now, it's unclear about the extent of those injuries, but we do know that several families have been forced from their homes because of this. Arson investigators are looking into the matter.
Now to a developing story. The whole country is watching the standoff over voting rights legislation here in Texas. Texas Democrats are waking up in Washington, D.C. this morning. They're trying to prevent new voting laws from passing in the current legislative special session. Republicans want to pass measures that would ban drive-through voting and 24-hour voting and limit voting by mail. The GOP says it's all about fighting election fraud. Democrats say it's an effort to keep many Texans from actually voting.
We were elected to represent our constituents and fight for our constituents' interests, and that is why we are here. Because we're not going to sit in Austin, in the House chamber, and watch the Republican majority steamroll the voting rights of our constituents.
You are the taxpayers who are paying for this junket that they're taking for multiple weeks, perhaps, to Washington, D.C., or who knows where they may go to. But everyone needs to know that we have business to take care of.
11.3 million votes were cast here in Texas in the 2020 general election. According to the Houston Chronicle, the Texas Attorney General's office prosecuted 16 people for election fraud since then. So what's next? While state House Democrats are out of Texas, the special session is expected to continue in Austin. The Senate meets today, but without a quorum in the House, any work that happens can't really go anywhere. Of course, we are staying on top of this story, and we will bring you the very latest on air and online at KHOU.com throughout the special session.
All right, Kim, at 5:35, there's, of course, a lot going on, as you may have noticed this morning. So here are 3 big stories we are watching right now. First up, President Biden says the U.S. stands with the Cuban people. The protests against Cuba's communist regime are the largest and the most violent in decades. U.S. Border Patrol announced a new joint initiative with Mexican law enforcement to increase border security. The initiative identifies 10 people associated with transnational criminal organizations. The goal is to capture these 10 people to disrupt and displace organizations that may be a threat to communities on either side of the border. New hope for immigrants. The Supreme Court ruled that all deportation information must be contained in a single note. Right now, federal officials send deportation hearing notices in 2 parts. Now, some immigrants hope their deportations will be canceled because they didn't get proper notice of court proceedings, according to that latest ruling. Meantime, there's another local story we are watching right now.
We're waiting on more information in the death of 5-year-old Samuel Olson after Teresa Balboa faced a judge.
Prosecutors say Teresa Balboa admitted to killing Olson when she called her roommate Benjamin Rivera. Now the district attorney's office has to decide if they're going to seek the death penalty. She's charged with capital murder and tampering with evidence. President Joe Biden is working with local leaders across America in an effort to fight gun violence.
This is going to help prevent crime and support young people to pick up a paycheck instead of a pistol.
The president is pushing more communities to use federal pandemic relief funds for policing and crime prevention. The American Rescue Plan provided around $350 billion to cities and states to help hire and train more police officers.
I'm Lauren Tallarico. A Sugar Land family has a word of warning for parents out there. Check your kids for ticks. 12-year-old Weston Artemas spent 5 days at Children's Memorial Hermann after his organs started failing. Doctors thought perhaps cancer until they learned he'd been bitten by a tick weeks back at summer camp. After antibiotics, he's now back home.